Can you give a bit of a backstory on, kind of how you grew up, what your lifestyle was like, and then, how did you get into this lifestyle and what brought you in there?
So I was born in 1982, 80s girl. So I'm 39 years old and I grew up with a single mom in the country and I had a pretty good childhood. I ate just sort of how everyone ate, like standard American diet. My mom tried to be as health conscious as she knew. So most dinners were like pork chops, mashed potatoes, corn, like some sort of meat, potato, and then veggie. And I mean, after school, I'd have nachos, junk food. I ate a lot of gluten, a lot of dairy, a lot of stuff like that growing up. And in my teenage years, I mean, I wasn't eating very well and I was really depressed. I had a lot of acne and I totally didn't connect the things at all. Sometimes I think, imagine I had realized, sometimes I think, oh, I would love to go to high school and speak or something. And just imagine like knowing at that age, just the effect these foods have on our body. It would have just totally transformed me from a young age rather than in my 30s. But I'm grateful to have found like all of this out when I did. Better late than never. And it's still early technically.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I ate the standard American diet and I was just not super healthy. I got into drinking in my teenage years. Went to university, got married right after university. And we sort of were in the habit of, we always worked hard, had like decent jobs and everything, but we were in the habit of drinking every day too. So I spent my 20s drinking and I got pregnant at 29, had my first amazing baby, May. And then I ran into a lot of health problems after I had her. So like doctors would say, maybe it's just because you're a new mom, but I knew there was more going on. And the main issue I had was a lot of digestive problems. So like many times I was having diarrhea and I would barely ever have like a formed bowel movement. My bowels were a mess and I was either having diarrhea or I was constipated. And then it got to the point where there was blood in my bowels. And I was very tired every day. And I was like thinking like, this isn't normal to feel this way, right? Like I would crash every day. I would get tired just walking up the stairs. My skin was a mess, like on my chest, my back, which was it just felt so gross. As a woman, you want to wear a bathing suit and your back is just covered in acne and my upper thighs. And I was having a lot of panic attacks, like so bad. I don't know if anybody out there's had panic attacks. I'm sure you have, but they were so severe to the point where I thought I was going to die. And they happened multiple times and ambulances would have to be called. I'd have to go to the hospital. I would call my mom and say, I'm going to die today. It was like so crazy.
Mm.
And they were just so severe. And they would get to the point where I couldn't even speak. And just like, I was a mess. Like my husband at the time, like he had so much patience with me. It was like so nice, but it was just like such a mess or all these different things going on. And I don't know how exactly I started. I think because one of my friends, Laura, was like kind of in the health world here in Toronto. And she was like, you have candida, try this candida diet. So that's when I sort of, I think, started trying different diets and different ways of like, started having juice, started doing juicing, things like that. And I started trying different diets. I even tried the blood type O diet because my blood type is O. So for anybody who doesn't know that, that is a heavy meat diet because they say you're the oldest blood type. You're meant to eat like a heavy animal based diet. So back then, like, I don't know what year this was, but I tried that and then it just wasn't working. And I was trying all these diets and I still knew I could feel better. And I went to this one doctor and he was like, I was still eating some gluten. I don't know when it was around the blood type O diet or a different diet, but he was like, maybe you have celiac. You need to try remove gluten from your diet. So I removed gluten from my diet. It was unbelievable how good I felt within 24 hours. I literally felt like a new human being. All my brain fog had gone that I didn't even realize I'd had. And I felt so happy and all my anxiety had like left. And like, I used to have so much anxiety that if I would go to the store just to buy something, I would feel anxiety like at the cashier and stuff like that. It was like pretty bad. So, I removed gluten. I was like, this is crazy. I felt so incredible. So that really started the path for me. That doctor in Toronto in the Kingsway saying that like literally just changed my life because that started to make me realize how the effect foods have on me. I think just so many of us don't connect like the fact that like you are what you eat a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So then I removed dairy and I realized like, whoa, my skin cleared up. Like, you hear Woody Harrelson said like he had bad skin and this girl came up to him on a bus and she was like, your skin on your face, that acne, I can guarantee you it's from dairy, cut it out and it'll be gone in 3 days. And then he was like, I did. And by golly, it was gone. So like, it was the same case for me. I didn't so much have it on my face, but my back. So like gluten and dairy got rid of a lot of the problems, but I still didn't feel amazing. And my digestion was still off and a mess. So Um, and also I just want to say too, after I cut gluten, if I would eat it, like my bowels, or if I would eat it by accident, because it's in so many things, right?
Yeah.
I would be like throwing up and have like, be in the toilet for 5 days. It was like crazy. Whereas like I used to eat it all the time, right? And then once you remove it from your body like that, it was crazy. So anyway, just removing those things totally changed my life. In 2016, it was like August 30th or 31st, whatever. I was reading something by Dr. Sebi, because at this point I was super into health and like how everything affects you. I was constantly now researching how blueberries affect you, what nutrients are in this, what does this. So I discovered Dr. Sebi, and he was saying something about the living foods and something I was reading online. And I thought, like, I've never heard of this. I've never thought to try living foods. This is crazy how I haven't heard of this. So the next day, it was September 1st, 2016. I tried to do all raw the whole day. I'm telling you, by the afternoon, I felt so good. By the evening, I felt like I've never felt this good in my whole life. And I was somebody who before that, liked my coffee, my alcohol, liked some sort of escape, some sort of high, and like whether it be a runner's high, alcohol, this, that. And I was like, holy crap, like I've never felt this good. I feel like I just knew this was how I'm supposed to feel. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, I've never felt this before. Oh my gosh, the whole world has to feel this. Even my husband was like, you seem so happy. Like I was just like coming to life. Right. So this just totally, totally changed my life. And then I've been raw ever since. I did go through a divorce, like a bad separation in this time, and like a lot of things happening a couple years into being raw. So I did fall off the wagon for a couple weeks. At one point I felt like crap, but overall I've been raw for almost 6 years, and nothing's changed my life more. It got rid of all my health problems. It reversed all the digestive problems. I have perfectly formed bowel movements now. I feel incredible. And one of the main reasons I do it is just because my energy, I have nonstop amazing energy. I knew I was meant to feel amazing. I knew it wasn't just like, you're a new mom, you're tired. Like my daughter now, still 3.5 years in, gets up in the night, and I still have so much energy all the time. Like we are meant to feel amazing. And I'm just so happy that I discovered this way of eating. It's just helped me like in so many ways. There's no more panic attacks. My depression and anxiety has gone down so much, almost nothing. Sometimes life comes at me and I do still experience like some bad days and some anger and some sadness. Like it's normal also to experience all those emotions. Mm-hmm. But just the level of like depression and anxiety that I had and the panic attacks, like all of that is gone. And it's why I started my channel. It's changed my life like nothing else. So
wow. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, I could, really relate to so many things that you went through, and how you grew up. We had a very similar diet growing up, and yeah, a lot of the things that you experienced. I didn't have the gluten issue, but most of the other things I can definitely relate to. What about spirituality? Did you used to be spiritual? Has anything changed in that area?
Yeah, it's changed big time. I feel like a much more spiritual person. I think before I was raw, I would say I was more of an atheist. Mm-hmm. And I respect what everyone believes. So I'm not judging at all whether anyone's atheist or anything. But now I really, without a doubt, absolutely believe in God. I believe in the afterlife. I am just obsessed with, and I have been over the last few years, like watching near-death experience stories on YouTube and learning and it's just, there's so many similarities to these people. When they go to the other side, they have the life review. So I just feel so much more connected to who I really am and connected to God, and feel like God does speak to us in many ways, whether it be like the next song that comes on the radio or somebody saying something at the right time, or these synchronicities and things like that. And I never was in tune or in touch with these things before I was raw. And I do recognize that some people still can be in tune with this and like this, even if they're not eating raw and they're eating other ways. Like some people can just still be the most creative person, reach their higher self, feel connected, like even if they're eating anything. But I'm not like that. For me, I just feel so connected. My favorite book now is Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. I'm like right into spirituality, and I would just love to get more and more spiritual. I mean, I have young kids, so sometimes it's hard for me to like meditate in the morning, and but I definitely want to get into more meditating in the morning and before bed, and more work on my subconscious mind. I'm trying to do that right now with my affirmations. I'm like even sleeping with them. And I'm just definitely much more into like the spiritual side of things for sure. And the living foods have just done that. And I've noticed over the last few years, like I've said, when there have been times where I've had cooked products, and I just felt like maybe not so much even the vegan products, but there were a couple times over the last 5 years where I did have salmon and some eggs. It hasn't been for a long time. It's a few years ago now, but I definitely felt like less connected. Like I can't even explain it. It's just like an energy thing, right? Like that energy in me, like threw me off with my connection to source energy and God. Like, I don't know. And I'm not saying it's like that for everyone, but I'm saying for me, it's a big difference. The living foods and the connection I have, and it just makes life a better experience, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. I've experienced that exact same thing. If I eat any sort of like junk food or anything like that, it immediately I can feel like a draining of my energy. I just feel less connected. So yeah, I totally know what you mean.
Yeah. And that's not sort of cut you off, but that's not even why I initially went into raw. Like it was for other reasons. And now that's actually one of my favorite reasons for wanting to stay raw. I would say like for the positive attitude, the clear mind, the energy I have, and the spiritual aspects, because when I like ate other things over the years and I lost that spiritual connection, that bothered me and I didn't like that. So I was like, I don't want to feel this way. I want to feel how I felt on raw.
What would you kind of describe your daily diet to look like for people that are kind of interested in trying to make this diet work for them?
Yeah, I love this question. Well, I have a lot of what I eat in a day videos on my channel. If anybody wants to go, there's a whole playlist. I love making those. And I used to love watching those before I was raw. So I am just so in love with the food. And I just want to say to anybody out there, like the more you do it, the more you fall in love with the foods, the more your taste buds change. And if it, at the beginning it feels boring, like keep in mind and just if you can keep yourself to stick to it, like you will fall in love with the foods. And you have to realize like, if you want to say like, okay, I'm going to commit to this for 30 days, like the other foods are not going anywhere. So just think in your head, like they're going to be on the planet, like the chips or the fries, whatever, it's not going anywhere. Try it for 30 days. It might change your life like it's done for me. So a day in my life right now or for food, is a little bit different than usual. So right now I'm intermittent fasting.
Cool.
This has been the most life-changing thing I've ever discovered aside from being raw. It's making me feel absolutely incredible, like next level. I absolutely love it. So right now this morning, I had a bunch of watermelon. Or no, first I had a freshly squeezed orange juice and then I had some fresh watermelon. It was so delicious because it's just coming into season here. I think it was so good.
Nice.
And then I ate some bananas as well, a bunch of bananas. And then I'm going to make a big salad after our call as well, like a huge salad with some soaked lentils, some kale, some bell peppers, tomatoes, and then a dressing that is avocado, oregano, water, sea salt, lemon. And it's so good.
Wow.
And then I might have something after that just to really fill me up for the intermittent fasting. And I'll stop eating before 3 o'clock. So I'll have like a chia pudding or some dates just to fill me up and satisfy me. And then I don't eat until the next morning. And I feel so good doing this. It's like next level.
So cool. How did you kind of get into intermittent fasting?
My 3-year-old, she likes to wake up in the night.
Yeah.
So that my sleep has not been great for the last 3 years. So I'm just like, okay, I need to do whatever possible to feel amazing because it's different. It's not ideal to eat in the evening. I know that, but if people eat in the evening and then they can sleep as long as they want in the morning, it's a little different. I have to get up at like 6 or 7 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, what can I do here to feel my best? I always just want to do what can make me feel my best. And I feel like if I can work on myself to make myself feel my best, then that's offering more to the planet and my kids and to everybody as well. So I remember when I was in Costa Rica at one point a few years ago, I did do intermittent fasting for a little bit and I stopped eating by 3. And I remembered I felt absolutely incredible. I would wake up at like 6 o'clock, like wide awake. So I was like, I'm going to try this. And I did an interview with Paul Nissan. He's been a 25-year raw vegan and he was talking a bit about it. And I think that sort of inspired something in me as well. Cool. And so then I was like, I'm going to try it. And I just feel like you're more in sync too with nature by like not eating dark and eating late into the hours. And I tried it. And then literally like within the first couple of days, I was like, holy crap. I feel good anyway, as it is raw, even with not much sleep, but this is just another level. Like I can't even begin to explain how good I feel. I wake at 6 o'clock. I'm wide awake and I'm just like ready to go. I'm so productive and it's just amazing. I am absolutely loving it. My stomach feels good. I didn't need to lose weight. I lost 5 pounds within the first week. I don't do it for weight loss. I do things for like, how can I feel my best? And my workouts, I've started working out on intermittent fasting. I feel like I have so much energy. I'm doing like these powerful workouts. It's just taking me to another level.